Good morning everyone and welcome to BIM for Architecture presentation. By the way, my name is Jeric Matutina, one of the applications engineer from Maximum Solutions Corporation and also a certified professional for Revit architecture. For the next couple of minutes, I will discuss a brief introduction of what building information modeling is, different software under architecture, engineering, and construction collection, and workflows designed for architects. At Autodesk, we make tools to help people with design challenges to make anything. And Autodesk tools are used in every industry where things are designed and made, from manufacturing, media and entertainment, natural resources, infrastructure, construction, and of course, architecture. Autodesk offers different softwares that will help you achieve your architectural design goals. As we can see on our screen, we have different softwares or tools like the popular AutoCAD, the Revit, the Formit Pro, the Dynamo, and so on. And these are all part of Autodesk Architecture, Engineering, and Construction or the AEC Collection. Once you purchase the AEC Collection, you are licensed or eligible to use all of the software listed on the screen. And later, we will be tackling some of the softwares included in AEC Collection for architectural workflows. The shift to digital processes begins with BIM. And for some of you who are not yet familiar or doesn't have any idea of what BIM is, Building Information Modeling or BIM is an intelligent 3D model-based process with the insight and tools to more efficiently plan, design, construct, and manage buildings and infrastructure. With BIM, you can improve your project understanding and decision making. You can also share and use same data across the project lifecycle from your desk or in the field, and you can respond quickly to change with processes that are smarter and faster. And take note of that, BIM is a process and not a software. The benefits of BIM have been well documented. In partnership with the government and private sector, survey had been done and this is the statistics. 72% of the total respondents said that with BIM, they can greatly predict the construction costs. 85% of them improved their project schedule and made fewer errors related to design and construction. 92% of the respondents can optimize their design via simulation and analysis, and 98% of them can understand the design proposals much better. Another benefit of Autodesk Portfolio is the way we offer access to our tools. The product you see in the top half of this slide are all part of a single solution offering called the AEC Collection, and this is what I have showed you recently. We can also see that we have four phases, beginning with conceptual design, going to schematic, then design development, up until to documentation phase. We can all notice that the particular software inside AEC can be used in different phases. The AEC collection is the best way to access Autodesk BIM portfolio. Beginning with the first software under AEC collection, we have Autodesk Revit. Autodesk Revit is the foundation of Autodesk BIM workflows for architects. It supports integrated and multidisciplinary design, meaning inside Revit, you can work on architectural designs and structural and map as well. You can make design changes easily, like when you have walls and windows, then you modify the size of the window. Revit will automatically adjust the size of the wall. Also, you will be able to design or create intelligent parametric objects. You can generate floor plans, elevation, section, and schedules all automatically. And once you finish your Revit model, you can extend the models for analysis, visualization, coordination, and even collaboration. Now, let's take a look at a series of tools and workflows optimized for the conceptual design phase. The next tools or software that I'm going to show you will capture conceptual data and transfer this data throughout the design process. Okay, question for everyone. What if you could use the power of computing to rapidly generate multiple design options? Nowadays, many architecture firms are embracing computational design tools for this purpose. because with computational design, you can more rapidly test, iterate, and study numerous design options and save time by automating repetitive tasks. Autodesk Dynamo Studio helps architecture firms gain the benefits of computational design all through a visual logic environment, no programming required. Autodesk Dynamo is also part of the AEC Collection. You can work with Dynamo within the Revit environment or untethered from Revit using Dynamo Studio. In this example, we are looking at an early stage design where we are testing a variety of variables for rectilinear massing model. You can see that it is possible to flex parameters with the sliders in the Dynamo environment, and in turn, this flexes the geometry for the tower height and also for the tower floors. Levels are defined within the Dynamo environment, and as the mass is brought into Revit, it is possible to generate roof, walls, and floors from the conceptual study in Dynamo. And beyond geometric iteration, Dynamo is also useful for automating repetitive tasks, meaning you can create or save time using Dynamo in a specific or repetitive task. Now, let's take a look kung paano nagwo-work si Dynamo as very useful in automating repetitive tasks. In this example, we can see that there are at least 40 views in the project browser, and the task at hand is to create sheets for this view and place that views on the sheet. As we can see, we launched Dynamo from the Revit add-ins toolbar, and we have script ready to go in the Dynamo environment. In this case, we are driving the sheet's name and numbers with data from Excel and using some filtering in a list to specify the views to place on the sheets. And as we run the manual run process, the Excel sheet opens up while Reference and Revit and Dynamo work together in the background to complete the task. With enough time for you to get a copy and come back to your desk, the run is completed after a few minutes. Yeah. And as we can see in Revit, at the project browser, the sheets have been automatically added to the project and the views are placed on the sheets. And here's a look at how Dynamo can be used to easily create and iterate on complex geometry. For this staging project, we are seeing the flexing of an arc radius parameter with a number slider to derive the big picture of the design. Using number sliders, it is also possible to change the number of risers in the stadium and allow this parameter to derive the overall height of the stadium form. Multiple options are studied, and the panel system is even added to the underlying structural study, as we can see. It is also possible to run a solar orientation analysis that appears in color gradient. And here is the final study as brought into the Revit environment and ready for design development and documentation. With Dynamo, changes and updates to projects become exponentially easier and more time efficient. You can rapidly take an idea and create multiple iterations or design alternatives rather than expending unnecessary time and effort manually making and saving the changes. And for those who have been using Dynamo for quite a long time, Autodesk added different nodes in Dynamo for Revit, such as include shadows code, include embedded walls code, and element that set pin status code, where you can set pin status like true to pin and false to unpin. That was added in latest release for Dynamo for Revit, and also for Autodesk added refresh capability to workplace reference viewer. And for the complete release notes for Dynamo for Revit, You can search it on Autodesk website or simply go to autodesk.com. If if matagal na kayong gumagamit ng Dynamo for Revit and hindi kayo updated sa mga enhancement and new features of Dynamo for Revit, you can search it on Autodesk website or simply go to autodesk.com. Again, with Autodesk tools, the BIM process starts at the earliest stage of design. And if you have question about Dynamo, you can type in at the chat box and we will try to answer that later. Okay, another software that we can use under the conceptual design phase is we have Autodesk Formit Pro, which is also part of the AEC Collection. With this tool, you can sketch in 3D and collaborate on concepts as a team. You can also analyze the potential building performance, and you can capture your design ideas whenever and wherever using iPad or Android. Use Formit to develop early concepts, massing, conduct energy studies, and conduct conceptual design reviews with a team or with your clients. And once you're ready to take your design further, you can seamlessly transition your Formit data into Revit using the cloud. Okay, in this video, we're gonna look with Formit in a desktop environment. Now we are importing a 2D sketch from AutoCAD into Formit in order to bring in order to create a 3D massing model using the Formit Geometry toolset. As we can see, ginagamit natin yung mga toolset in Formit, and yan, we see how simple it is to sketch the podium and tower forms and extrude them into a massing model. And once the form are extruded, kapag okay na yung model nyo, it is possible to then specify the project location. With the project location set, a map appears in the view, and we can adjust the location of the massing to the correct place in space. Yan, ginagawa po natin, nilulugar natin yung correct place sa space ng ating model. And then to further articulate the forms, we can add levels that will translate into Revit levels. And once we are done with our model in Formit, inside Revit, we can use the import button to import the Formit model and continue to develop the model for schematic design and through design development. With Formit, data is seamlessly carried over from concept design to design development and integrates with Revit. And by popular request, Autodesk added an orthographic camera inside Formit 2021. And now you can toggle between them using navigation menu on the platforms. Meaning, aside from perspective camera, meron na ring orthographic camera in Formit 2021, which you can toggle between them using navigation menu. And in addition, for the updates of Formit 2021, Autodesk added the ability to link the Formit Materials panel to local folders to reveal file format like .jpeg, .png, .axm, and also the Materials panel can now pick into Formit files to reveal their materials so that you can quickly access material across files. And also for another enhancement for Formit 2021, for Windows only, changing a material color in the color picker dialog will now update the canvas in real time. So you can more quickly and accurately iterate on material colors. Yan po yung mga some updates ni Autodesk for Formit 2021. Yan. If you have question po regarding Formit Pro, please type in at our chat box and we will try to answer that after the presentation. But now, let's move on to another software under conceptual design phase. We have Autodesk Recap. And Autodesk Recap is also included in the AEC Collection. Nowadays, it's easier than ever to implement BIM on renovation projects because using BIM on renovation projects It allows user to design with greater precision, and also it will help you to avoid issues that may arise when 2D design files don't reflect as built conditions, and it also speeds the design and documentation process. Recap Pro is very user friendly, meaning you can use it even if you have no previous experience. And in Recap also, one-click automated workflows do powerful tasks like scan registration, which stitches multiple scans and together into one point cloud. And perhaps most importantly, Recap integrates with all of the Autodesk key AEC design creation tools, including Revit. And this is how Autodesk Recap works. Once the scanning process has been completed, you can define regions that can be used to define level, height, and elevation in Revit. The same scan data can be used as reference point to create floor plans. Just simply use Revit intelligent modeling tools to define object or elements like walls, furnitures, doors, and windows, complete with accurate dimensions. You can also add more detail to your design, such as customized stairs based on scan data that was captured. And that was the result. And here's a look at recap and the ease which you can work with the scan data. After importing your file, it is possible to review the imported data in 3D. And you can push and pull the extents of the scan. And also, it is possible to spot dimensions, point of interest to get a sense of the scale of the overall building envelope, for example. And once you have done in recap, you are able to link that data into Revit with an insert link process and use this data as the base of your design development. And this example shows the completed 3D model that is based off the point cloud data. You can see the model has been developed for structural accuracy, and of course, materials have been considered. With this level of detail and accuracy, you will be able to explore and understand the building information model in detail and feel comfortable with an accurate as-built model handoff. And for the newest version of Recap, which is Recap 2021, you can now compare the scan view and overhead map view side by side. You can also use the compass widget to set the XY axis for the user coordinate system in the overhead view. Also, in addition, for Recap 2021, you can now generate high resolution ortho images for large and even small sites. You can faster import of the scans up to 20% by leveraging multi-core processors. Again, for the complete release of uh, Autodesk for Recap 2021, you can search it on autodesk.com, Autodesk website. And that's the series of tools and workflows optimized for the conceptual design phase. Again, for conceptual design phase, we can use Dynamo, Formit, and Recap, which are all part of the AEC collection. Again, if you have questions so far, please free to type in at the chat box and we will try to answer that after the presentation. Okay? Okay. Now, let's take a look at the tool and workflows optimized for schematic design phase. And the next tool will capture schematic data and validate your design solutions. Recognizing the long-term environmental impact of buildings, sustainable design is an imperative for many architecture firms. That is why Autodesk make it easier than ever to incorporate your sustainable design decision making even at the earliest stages of design. Autodesk Insight, which is also part of the AEC collection, use leading simulation engines for whole building analysis, including the energy, cooling, heating, daylighting, and solar radiation. Also, Insight provide a mechanism for you to work with your owners to better monitor building performance and cost during its operation. Hawk, for example, is an American design, architecture, engineering, and urban planning firm. And as of 2018, Hawk is the largest US-based architecture engineering firm, and ilan sa kanilang mga project ay LaGuardia Airport sa New York City, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Georgia, and LG Science Park in Seoul, South Korea. And they are pursuing a net zero carbon design portfolio by 2030. That's their goal. And Autodesk Insight empowers them, especially the architects, to model the energy performance impact of design decisions early and often. Kumbaga, yung managers dito sa company na to, they are pushing architects to use Insight just to achieve their goal by 2030, yung a net zero carbon design portfolio. Okay, Revit includes direct access to Autodesk Insight, meaning inside Revit with the push of a button, you can send your Revit model to the cloud for analysis. And results are quickly returned in a visual, easy to read format, making it easy to identify opportunities to improve your design. Okay, let's take a look on how Insight works. Insight enhances Revit and enables you to visualize and interact with key performance indicators, benchmarks, factors, ranges, and specification to help make better decisions. We have seen that we access Insight in Revit, and yeah, in Insight, we are able to review benchmark data, the building orientation data, and even window glazing performance by window wall ratios or WWR. Yeah, we can see that we can toggle from data points to another data points, and also for each data point, it is possible to interact with the data and adjust ranges. Like for example, for lighting efficiency. For lighting efficiency, we can simply drag or click our mouse, then adjust the data or the ranges. And also you can simulate, calculate, and visualize key daylighting and occupancy controls data. Like what yung ginagawa ngayon sa video. Again, Insight empowers architects and engineers to design more energy efficient buildings with advanced simulation engines and building performance analysis using this tool or Autodesk Insight. Also, you can simulate, calculate, and visualize energy cost for HVAC. And yeah, you can see as you toggle between the various data points, the analysis will update easily. Yeah. And that's the tool and workflows optimized for schematic design phase. Again, Autodesk Insight will capture schematic data and validate your design solutions. Again, when you have purchased the AEC Collection, you are eligible or licensed to use the Autodesk Insight. Again, if you have question in mind, feel free to type in at our chat box and we will try to answer that later. Now let's take a look and workflows optimized for the design development phase or the third phase. And the next tool that I am going to show you will capture design development data and prepare you for high-level client presentation with compelling visualizations. Okay, what if you could experience your design before they were built? What if may experience mo na maglakad or maggala sa loob ng building kahit di pa ito nako-construct? You know what? Today, that's possible with 3ds Max and virtual reality tools. The experiences these tools create help you understand and interact with your design in a whole new way. Because with an immersive visualization or VR experience, you can make better decisions based on real-world setting. You can also engage your clients in the design process like never before by allowing them to virtually step inside their project. Again, 3ds Max is also part of the AEC Collection. Autodesk 3ds Max Interactive allows you to turn your Revit models into immersive visualization or VR experiences with a click of a button. And the simplicity of the tool means that it is easy to use whenever you need to validate a design decision. And here's a look at how 3ds Max Interactive works. Using 3ds Max and VR tools, you can interact with your design in a new way. You can virtually step inside your project. You can also play around and interact with the objects inside the project. And also using 3ds Max Interactive and VR tools, you can change or modify or validate the texture of material of an object. As we can see, nilalagyan ng materials or textures yung mga objects natin. And you can do that from time to time using 3ds Max Interactive and the VR tools. Aside from playing around and changing or modify the texture of materials, you can also make or measure yung object natin like yung length and width ng ating buildings. Okay, that's an addition. Okay, 3ds Max is also good for making 3D models, animation, and rendering for design visualization. And for those who have been using 3ds Max for a long time, Autodesk released 3ds Max 2021 this year, where they improve preview and selection methods for objects and component levels that will improve your experience when using editable poly or the edit poly modifier. And also, Autodesk improve map browsing experience with a revised interface experience and search capability. And for materials and shaders, new OSL shaders, including the non-tightening bitmap shaders, has been added. Again, for the complete release note of Autodesk for 3ds Max 2021, you can search them in their site, autodesk.com. And that's a tool and workflows optimized for design development phase. Again, Autodesk 3ds Max will capture design development data and prepare you for high-level client presentations with compelling visualization. When you purchase the AEC Collection, you are free to use the Autodesk 3ds Max. Okay, if you have question, wag lang po tayong mahiyang magtanong. Type in sa ating chat box. Okay? Okay. Finally, let's take a tool or a series of tools and workflows optimized for construction documentation phase. And the next tool will detect issues with design, optimize design for construction, and create seamless opportunities for cloud collaboration and coordination. To better coordinate your design with the extended project team, you can use Autodesk Navisworks Manage. Navisworks Manage allows you to combine design and construction files from various formats into a holistic model for project review. It helps you resolve clashes and errors before construction begins. Meaning, kahit di pa nako-construct yung project or let's say building, na-detect natin kagad if may mga clashes or sa nagsasalpukang pipe or other materials. Meaning, on the design process pa lang, alam na natin kagad kung ano yung mga magka-clash or yung mga errors sa ating design using this Navisworks Manage tool. And take note that Navisworks is also part of the AEC Collection. Navisworks reads native Revit files, allowing you to move data between applications fluidly. And once your files are in Navisworks, you have several features for working with the data. And the most commonly known feature of Navisworks is the clash detection and model coordination, where you can anticipate and reduce potential clash and interference problems before construction, minimizing expensive delays and rework. And another powerful benefit of Navisworks is the aggregation of data into a single model. With this, you can combine design and construction data into a single model using model publishing, data, and model aggregation tools. You can also use Navisworks for model simulation and even animation, where you will be able to animate and interact with objects for better model simulation. Navisworks is also good for quantification. And now let's take a deep dive and look at Navisworks quantification toolset. Today, estimating process rely heavily on 2D documentation and model counting of project elements and components which can be prone error and very time consuming. Here we can see how Autodesk solution provides several ways to gain access to the quantity information early in the planning process. By leveraging tools directly from Revit and Navisworks, we can quickly get a high-level understanding of the project quantities. Case schedules or tables of data built from the 3D model created by the designer can be used by adding counts and even totals. And here we are working with item and resource catalog information to classify the model elements further than the model authoring tools can. With the catalogs available, it is possible to quantify the model using intuitive tools in Navisworks. The quantification toolset or the quantification workbook is the central location to manage quantities within the model. Just simply select an appropriate item with the catalog for quantification, then either drag and drop elements from the model to the appropriate items. Simply right click on any model's element and select the drag or the catalog item to use. This ensures that we see exactly what has been quantified and we can quickly toggle between showing the model elements that are complete versus the elements that are not complete. And that's the picture of Autodesk managed work. And in addition, in Navisworks 2021, you can now switch back your model from Revit, meaning when you select an item in Navisworks, you can right-click that object and choose switch back. After clicking switch back, it will bring you to a switchback view directly in the same model that you have imported into. And also additional for updates, you can now create 3D viewpoint within Navisworks and save that viewpoint and share that with your colleagues. And also, Autodesk updated IFC file reader in Navisworks, where you can use same open source code from Revit to handle IFC files with added hierarchy and data enhancement. The next tool under documentation phase, we have BIM 360. BIM 360 enables your design teams to work in new ways on BIM projects. By centralizing project data in the cloud, architecture firms can accelerate design delivery by enabling teams in multiple offices and even on different continents to concurrently work on shared models, which is ito very relevant today during these times of pandemic na even karamihan sa atin we are working from home and yeah we can be updated sa ating model using if we use BIM 360 for design collaboration. And take note that BIM 360 is not part of the AEC collection. BIM 360 is another purchase from AEC collection. BIM 360 at a high level encompasses several cloud collaboration toolsets. And one part of BIM 360 that is highly relevant to the AEC community is the BIM 360 design. With BIM 360 design, you will be able to utilize the design collaboration module to enable cloud collaboration and documentation management for seamless data transfer and file organization. Again, for documentation phase, we can use Tabis Works Manage that is good for clash detection, model simulation, and quantification. BIM 360 for cloud collaboration that is highly relevant, especially this time of pandemic. And that's the workflow, the architectural workflows by Autodesk. And now, just to execute kung paano natin matatransfer yung one file going to another software, let me just show you. Okay, thank you for the confirmation. And before the presentation, I created 2D drawing inside Autodesk 2021. And our task at hand is to create 3D model, meaning from 2D, gagawin natin siyang massing model or 3D in Form It. Then after Form It, ita-transfer natin siya or i-import natin yung ating Form It model to Revit, and we will do some enhancement on our model. And yeah, using that Revit model, i-analyze natin siya using the Autodesk Insight for building analysis. So yeah, I created 2D model. Then what I'm gonna do now is to save this model or the 2D drawing to DWG file as DWG file format. Okay, save as, then drawing, then let me name it as Museum ACAD. Just simply save. Again, we have now AutoCAD file or drawing file wherein ito yung content, 2D drawing. What I'm gonna do next is to import that 2D drawing into Form It. We just simply use the File tab, then simply use Import button, then ilocate natin kung nasaan yung ating DWG file. Museum aka.dwg file, then click Open. Now, yung ating 2D drawing created in AutoCAD, gagamitin natin siyang as reference in order for us to create a 3D model or massing model. Just simply use geometric intelligent toolset like, for now, I will use this line tool, then papatungan ko yung ating 2D drawing. You can see how simple it is to create or to use reference for our project. Just simply escape. Once we are done with our line tools, we can now use other features or functions of Form It like the extrude tool. Ang gagawin ko now is to create this 2D model into 3D model. I will extrude them. Then, like what I said kanina, you can create levels in Form It that will translate it into Revit levels pagdating kay Revit. Mm-hmm. Gawin natin siyang let's create levels. Yeah. As we can see, it is easier than ever to create levels using some intelligent function or tools inside Form It. We're not going to di tayo magpapaka deeper into Form It, but what I will do is just create levels, and also uh, sabi ko rin kanina, once you are done with your model in Formit, you can specify a project location. Just simply use the location button to locate your project. But for now, hindi muna tayo maglalagay ng project location. Now, hanggang dito na lang muna tayo. Okay, once we are done with our Formit model, we just simply save this, save sketch as in local. Let me name it as museum form it. Again, ang ginagawa nga pala natin is a museum. Okay, save it as that AXM file. Okay, from 2D, AutoCAD, then 3D, form it. What we're gonna do next is to import that form it model into Revit. In Revit, we have add-ins toolbar where you can see the import form it to Revit, and we will use that. Click import form it to Revit button, then locate our form it model or file, click, then simply open, and then yeah, here's a look after importing. We are in level 1 but we're gonna go to our 3D model. Yeah, mapapansin nyo kung ano yung itsura ng ating model sa Formit, ganun lang din naman yung lalabas pagdating kay Revit. And using some intelligent tools in Revit, yun nga pala, for those who have not yet familiar with Revit, you can work on architectural, structural, and even MEP discipline. You can also create different 3D views using the camera. And also, you can create structural plans, ceiling plans, even schedules, and of course, sheets for documentation phase. Okay, let's say after using Revit modeling intelligent tools, ito yung kakalabasan natin. Okay, from here, from imported 3D model, form it, then, ayan, in-enhance ko na to before the presentation. And here's a look of our model using some enhancement. Ito na yung ating naging model. And our task at hand now is to transfer this model to validate our decision making. Okay, from this model, we can transfer this to Autodesk Insight for building analysis. And let's say, okay na yung ating energy model, yung ating energy settings, we can transfer this data via cloud using button in Revit. Let's say, using optimize button, simply click optimize. Then, ganito yung magiging look niya. Ayan. Oops, transmit din for request. Okay, makita na natin yung ating model from Revit. Ganun lang din magre-reflect inside. Okay. And yeah, sabi ko rin kanina, while presenting Autodesk Insight, you can interact with the data and changes sa mga factors like the building orientation, the WWR or the window wall ratios. You just simply click or drag for energy cost, for WWR. Yeah, let's say, let's go to lighting efficiencies. For lighting efficiencies, for energy costs, you can simply drag or click. And for daylighting, yeah. Another features and one of the features rather of Autodesk Insights is that you can create different scenarios like this. This is my first scenario, and if you want to create another scenarios, yes, you can. Just simply create this or use this button, add scenario, then let's say rename this scenario, then scenario, then click to, then simply adjust the setting of that scenario or scenario 2. Okay. Let me adjust some. So yan, let's say okay na yon for our scenario 2. With that, we have created scenario 1 and scenario 2. And the good thing about Insight is that you can compare scenario 1 to scenario 2 or from other scenarios. We have the scenario compare button. Ayan. Meaning you can view, you can preview, you can compare your settings from one scenario to another scenario. And that's it for Autodesk Insight. Okay, that's a simple execution kung paano natin ita-transfer yung file created from one software going to another software, which is software included in the AEC collection. Okay. Now we can realize the unique benefits of Autodesk Architecture, Engineering, and Construction Collection, or the AEC Collection, through all stages of the building design process. We've seen a number of Autodesk BIM tools and workflows today, which are all part of our broader portfolio for architecture. The product you see, or the products you see in the top half of this slide, are all part of a single solution offering called the AEC Collection. Again, Autodesk BIM 360 for cloud collaboration is not part of the AEC Collection. The AEC Collection is the best way to access Autodesk BIM portfolio. And that's the end of my presentation.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Hi, Miss Jerry. Thank you very much for the warm welcome. And Jerry, thank you for the very wonderful presentation. So to kick things off, and to know a little bit more about who and what Matterport does, is basically what you see here. Just, yeah. Okay. So what we see here is on the left part of my screen are basically the outputs of Matterport. This is all about creating a digital twin, a dimensionally accurate, photorealistic capture of a built property or an existing space. So this can be everything from a construction site to a new building, residential, commercial, industrial, and whatever it may be. So again, this is all about creating and empowering business to a new level of engagement using a 3D digital twin. And I'll share a little bit more of it, of how it comes together. So again, Matterport is the leading spatial data company focused on digitizing and indexing the built world. So what we mean by that is if you think about the number of buildings that exist in the world, buildings are the largest asset class in the world, and there are very little data about those buildings in terms of understanding if the content and the elements around them. So in Matterport, what we plan to do is that we plan to um, give each and every one of us the ability to gather all that data and extract it using the Matterport technology. So the easiest way we can go about this is I can show you an example, and then we also have different applications of our both users and customers who are using the Matterport across the whole portfolio, such as residential, commercial, industrial. So going back, let me show you a sample of our model. Okay, so can you see my screen? So who can confirm?
Yes,
Jerry,
yes.
is this?
It's
Yeah, okay,
viewable.
okay. So let us go into. Yeah, okay, so this is an example of a Matterport space. So as you can see, this is what we get from actually scanning a scanned area of an existing area, and then uh, getting the data. Okay. So this is a digital twin of the property. This is a sample scan of a presidential suite in Berlin. This is not rendered through a design software, but actually this is captured with the Matterport technology and then rendered as a true 3D model that is again dimensionally accurate and photorealistic. I can let's go deep into the model to have a brief overview. So as you can see here, So this is basically the output of Matterport. So when you want to have this type of information or data, all you have to do are three things. You just get the camera and then scan, and then you have this model. So by the way, I have sent a link for us, for all of us to view the sample model of Matterport. So let me show you another one. So this is an IT store. So they have incorporated Matterport into their own virtual store. So this is where you can see all of their items and equipment. So questions, what can you do with Matterport? So there are some things that you can do in Matterport. With Matterport technology, you can get 4K images and videos. You can also get 360 panoramic shots. You can also measure inside the model. So, so as you can see, floor to ceiling is 4.25 meters. So again, the accuracy of of the Matterport technology is 99% accurate. So so that's it. So if you're interested, I've sent a sample link again. So if you're interested, just give us a call and then we can do a personal demo at your office or via Zoom. So Jerry, that's all for Matterport.
Thank you, Paolo. Again, Matterport is a 3D camera that helps you help the clients scan their facility or their current build models in order for the clients to see a better visualization of the as if they're in it, an actual visualization.